Welcome everyone to Photo U. Tonight we're going to be doing hands-on projects. Actually just one project. We're going to do a layout. I'm going to talk about layering and some easy ways that you can do that and make it look all fancy, but it's really not all that fancy. Okay, so we're glad you joined us. We are going to start by giving away some points, and those points are going to go to Michelle. Thank you for getting here early, Michelle. If you will message Lisa E. your account number, then she will get those points put into your account. And then I'll do points at the end too, so make sure you stick around because I will do that at the very, very end. Now, we did design this so that if you want to make this layout as we go along, you're welcome to. If you have questions, please type them in the chat, or if it's a lengthy question, let Lisa know that we need to unmute you, or you can unmute yourself and ask those questions. But hopefully you have fun with this and that you get some good ideas, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm actually going to make my workspace the spotlight video, and I'm going to turn off my video so that I can turn and make sure that I am showing you everything. Okay, this layout is using our new summer collection from Our Memories for Life. Okay, and it's a two-page layout. So here is page 1, and then here is page 2. Okay, you'll see that it kind of carries some of the similar pieces across. It's maybe a little hard to tell, but this paper is the same as what's over here. I did use a refill page for this base. You could use white cardstock. You could use a colored cardstock, but I like the white because then I can layer multiple other colors on top of it and not cause any issues. Now, the first thing we want to do, though, because it takes a little bit for these to dry, is I want to color this laser cut border, okay? So I'm going to show you how we do that first. And I've already done one, plus I want to show you, this is my test strip. I don't recommend doing the test strip on an actual border. Later on, I got smart, and I did the test strips on these little extra pieces here because you're just going to throw those away anyways, but this was before I got smart that time. So what I've done is use 2 different markers for this, okay? So to start off with, I'm going to protect my surface, and I like to use a slick surface. You could use a piece of cardboard, but you want something that's not going to get damaged by whatever you're doing to color this, okay? They come in sheets like this, and again, this is part of the summertime collection, and all you do is pop these little guys out. So you just go along, there's little tabs kind of holding them in. Sometimes they're easier to get off than other times. It just depends on how coordinated I'm feeling at the time. You can use your scissors and go through and snip it, but I have found that I've snipped the wrong spots doing that, so I kind of steer clear of that now as well. Now, this is totally a personal preference on this, but I don't like these little excess tabs that stick off. And I know they're very minor, but it bugs me. So I go along and I just trim off those tiny little tabs, and it really is not a big deal, but if you want to do that, you can. That way it gives you a nice clean edge. On these waves, you can actually trim those little guys too if you want. I'm not going to worry about that. When I've got it all trimmed the way I want, because this slick guy is not really, it's exactly the width of this, I'm going to turn it on an angle. And I'm just using Crayola markers. Now, these are non-toxic. I don't know that they're acid-free. So if you're worried about that, just don't put them directly on your photos. I'm actually pop-dotting these up. There are markers out there that are acid-free, so you can always get those as well. And I'm going to use 2 colors. So I'm going to start off with this blue one. And I'm going to color across it. And I'm not going to be all that perfect because I want the green to shine through a little bit as well. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about, am I getting it all colored in, because I actually am going to use this marker a couple of times. So I'm just getting some blue down. It's not beautiful. It's simply coloring it. And I will mention that I did a video just on coloring with markers and with inks that's on our Vimeo channel. That link is available on the Youngevity Photo Distributors Facebook page, pinned at the very top if you ever want to go look at those. And we just posted a new one coloring with colored pencils and watercolors today. So now I'm going to go back with this green, and I'm going to, again, just kind of go over some spots. And it's a little bit easier to do this on the side of the marker rather than the tip, because the tip you have to go back and forth a lot. This gives me more of a sweeping motion. And you see it's kind of filling some things in. There's still some white, no big deal. I'm going to come back with the blue and kind of blend this back in a little bit. It is making this a little bit wet, which is why if I know I'm going to use these and color them, I do that first, because I want to have a little bit of time to let these dry. And you will likely get ink on your fingers. So, and baby wipes don't really take it off. I have found that hand sanitizer does. You can always use rubbing alcohol, or just let it wear off with some soap and water over time as well. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of green down. I'm going to go back with this blue again and just kind of darken it up in a few places. So you can see there's a few spots where I've got a little bit of white showing. And so I'm just layering it on top of each other. And you do get a total different look if you start with the green and then layer the blue and then come back with the green, because of the way the ink is blending with each other. So you can try different combinations, which one goes down first, which one goes second, and see which look you like best. Okay, I think I about got that. I do make sure that I've got all of my edges colored so that they don't show through. Okay, and there is my waves, all colored. Now I did get kind of a stripe in the middle, I've noticed, and that's going to really bug me. So I'm going to come back and color that in just a little bit more. It's okay if it's randomized, but somehow I managed to get that like a streak all the way through. And you know, waves don't have streaks all the way through. There, happier with that. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry. I'm going to take away this guy, and I'm going to wipe my fingers off because I don't want any wet ink on what I'm about to work on. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring up my refill pages, and I usually start with one side and then move to the other. Okay, so I've got 2 refill pages, and make sure that you lay them down with the centers in, because it's really sad to get all the way through and then be like, oh crud, I just blew that. Okay, and for some reason I tend to work on the right hand side first, so we're going to go with that. Okay, I have pre-cut papers just to make things go a little faster. Okay, so I have, this is 9 by 9, and some of this is going to be covered up, which is fine, and this is 3 by 9. And when I cut papers, I always do the width first, so that I end up with a nice thick 3-inch paper, and then I trim it off and then I get a smaller 3-inch paper. Okay, so that way I know that I have everything where I want it to be. And this particular paper is down, about 2 inches or so from the top. And the other thing is, with the refill pages, you want to make sure that you're getting things lined up where you want with those the clear protective guys on the edges. So if you want this to go all the way to the edge, make sure you do that. But keep in mind that your 12 by 12 border is only going to go 12 inches. So decide where you want those to be positioned. You might want to lay that down first just to make sure you have that reference point. So I'm just going to pull this off to the bottom. And I'm going to put down this one first. And I'm just going to put adhesive in the 4 corners. And I'm going to line it up a little bit off the edge because I know that that's the space that I need. Okay, and then again, if I want this as a reference point, now I know exactly where I need to have my next piece go. And it overlaps just a hair, not a bunch. So I'm just going to overlap it just a little bit there. And that's my first piece, okay? Now, I'm going to show you this completed page so you can see some of the things are done. So also underneath here, I have some strips. And I'm actually going to set this aside just for a minute, finish the other side, and then come back to it. So I build my base, and then I start off with my layers, okay? So we're going to pull this one off, go to our second side, and on the second side, we have this piece and this piece. And this one is, it's still 9 tall, and it's 6 inches wide, and this is 2.5. Now, because this is a 2-page spread, this is key. You must line these guys up, okay? So I always put the other page next to it so I know exactly where that's going height-wise. Otherwise, you end up with something like this, which, yes, I have done before. Okay, so make sure you've got these lined up exactly where they need to go, that the tops and bottoms, so that when you get it into your album, you know where it's going to line up. Okay, so there's that piece. And then I'm going to take this one, same thing, adhesive in the 4 corners, and I'm going to adhere it on this side. And I tend to overlap things just a hair, just because if I don't, if you do it like this, and it's not perfectly cut or lined up, you get a little white gap. So overlapping lets me ensure that I don't end up with that white gap. All right. On this page, it's much easier to see these strips, okay? So I have pre-cut several strips here. And when doing these, it's best to start with a 12-inch paper, or at least 4 inches, because this little guy here is 1/4 inch. And it's very easy to put this into a trimmer. And if it's 4 inches wide, you just move over to 3 3/4 and trim it. Okay, this one is about 3/8, a little bit wider than that. It's not quite 1/2 inch, and this one is 1 inch. Now this guy is only used on this page, so it doesn't matter as much how long I make it. But these guys go on the other side as well, so I want to make sure that I'm not trimming them too short or too long. Okay. Also, you'll notice I have different widths of things because it looks better, and also you're going to see that I'm going to do different heights of things, okay? So I'm going to grab my trimmer, set this aside for a sec, and I don't really need to pull the arm out because I'm going to go long. And on these strips, you just want to make sure that you're going under the photo just a hair. So on this one, if I go 6.5, I should be fine. On this green one, if I go 6, I should be fine. Okay, so they're just about a 1/2 inch or so different. And then, like I said, this blue one really doesn't matter because it's only being used on this side. So the orange one, and actually I do need the arm out. If I go to 6.5, so I'm going to line this guy up, put it here, and trim it. Now the great thing is if you don't trim it perfect, it's not the end of the world because you're going to hide one of those ends. Okay, this one is going to be 6. Okay, so the 6.5, I'm going to make sure that I put over here, and then the other ones go on the other side because they're going to get hidden. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to adhere, just making sure I'm telling you correctly, this piece on this side here. Now, notice that I can either adhere it this way or I can adhere it this way. I'm getting ready to layer these guys over this. So if I do it on this side, I may not get as much of this blue as I want. Okay, so I'm actually going to do it like this. And then this time I am going to just bump it up against each other because I'm going to then come and adhere these like this, and then I still get a little bit of that blue showing. Okay, so we're going to stick this guy down. I'm just going to do top and bottom because I'm going to have some pictures over the top of it at some point. Okay, so make sure I've got those lined up. And there's the gap I told you about if you don't get it perfectly on there. Okay, that worked. Now for this one, I'm going to just be very careful and just put one little strip of adhesive on there. And that worked. And I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to put it on this side of that seam. And then I'll come and line up the other one on top of that, okay? And then this guy gets a little bit of adhesive there, a little bit of adhesive, oops, here, and he bumps up right next to that orange one coming down, you know, a little bit, whatever you'd like. And now I have my blue strip. Okay, I've also punched out a border maker punch. Now, I want to make sure that you know how to use these. So you put your cartridge, and this is the Japanese fan, inside of this part. You put your paper, which I'll show you with this guy. You flip your paper, this little holder out, slide your paper in. Okay, once it's in, put this down. That is magnetic. And then you're going to see there's little teeth here. These little teeth line up like that. So you put this, slide it in, punch, and go along, okay? So this one's already done so that we didn't have to take the time to do that. I just wanted to show you the layering part of it. And again, it's about as long as this part is, as the green. So I'm just going to trim this at the 6-inch mark. Now you can decide if you want to trim it so that you start with a full scallop or a half scallop. And I actually want to start with that full scallop. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim this first. So I line up the straight edge on the side, come right here in between, trim that there. And actually that was not exactly where I wanted it. I want it where it comes off there. Okay, now I've got little baby pieces. And then I know that I want it to be 6 inches long. So now I'm going to come along here and I'm going to put it not on the straight edge and come back and trim that there. And the nice thing is it makes a nice clean edge for my other side that I'm going to use it for in just a minute. So this guy's going to go here, but before I put that down, I'm going to take advantage of our stackable stickers. Okay, there are 2 sheets of stackable stickers, and I'm going to use this little blue guy right here, and I'm going to put that on my piece. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of orange on each side, and this sticker is going to be just a hair longer. Oops, it's actually a hair shorter, which is fine, so I'm going to cover it up with a photo. And then I'm going to come and adhere this here, and I'm just going to put adhesive behind where the solid parts are, not where the fan is, because I'm going to assume that this is going to be in a protector of some sort, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and again, I'm overlapping that just a hair so that I don't get that hard edge, that bumped up edge there. Okay, so there's that side. And the next piece I'm going to do is this guy right here. Now, this takes advantage of our new cut-aparts. So in the kit, you not only get cardstock with designs on it, you get 2 pages that are these cut-aparts. And they're designed to be cut on these lines here so that you can then layer them, you can use them as is, you can, you know, cut out just the parts that you want. And so here what I've done is cut out 3 different ones. So there's the Let the Sea Set You Free. Here's the green, and the peach happens to be on another piece. Okay, so to create this particular layer, I'm going to take these 3 and I'm going to offset them just a little bit. Okay, and sorry, I made the camera bounce, didn't I? So sorry about that. So I'm going to use just regular adhesive on these 2 pieces here. What I'm going to do is just put a little bit, you want to kind of pay attention to wherever, so I just want adhesive in these spots here. Okay, otherwise you end up with adhesive in all kinds of places until you get everything put down. All right, so you kind of eyeball it or you can measure it, but I want to have the same amount of space on the top as I do on the side. Okay, that looks great. Now, for the Let the Sea Set You Free, I'm actually going to use foam squares on this to pop it up. And again, right now, I'm just going to worry about this particular corner. And because I'm not putting down, actually, I can go ahead and put all 4. But if you were putting down photos and you need to put a photo underneath this, and you want to make sure that you don't pull off all the backing. Wait till you get your photos down first, and then come back and add those, okay? So here's my Let the Sea Set You Free, same amount of space, top and bottom as I had with the green and the peach. And I'm not pushing down all four sides, just those two, because then I want to come over here and push it down on the page. If I did it before, that would be a problem. Now, as I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I'm not putting the peach over the peach because it doesn't show up well. I'm sliding it over a little bit so that I have the green, the peach over the green, and also it looks kind of weird to have this white gap, so I'm actually going to slide it over just a little bit more so I have even more of a gap there, okay? And if you have photos, then you may want to wait till you get your photos on to place that so that you make sure you have enough room for your photos at the bottom. Now, the last thing on this particular page are these stickers, okay? I'm not going to show you putting these two on because you need your photo, but let me show you how I built this one. So here we have these stickers like this. Notice that it does not have a notched in. No problem. I want to make this into a flag that I can have it match the other one. So all I'm going to do is go in the center of this and clip in just a little bit. You can decide how far you want to go. And then I'm going to come from the corner to the center, and then from the corner to the center again. And I don't want that on my layout. And by doing that first cut, it makes sure that you're at the same angle on both sides, that you don't end up with something weird. And I am going to use foam squares on this, so it doesn't matter that I'm taking the sticky off on the back because I don't really want it sticky anyways. Okay, so there's that part. And then I'm going to come over here, and here's vacation, and this is the reason why I wanted to create this kind of flag look, is because I wanted it to match, okay? And it's actually easier to put this back down here now that I've got it notched. And then I'm going to line this up so that the flag is pretty much in the center or on that same line for the orange vacation, hashtag vacation, as well as the other flag, okay? Then I take this and I put a couple of foam squares behind it. I'm just going to do one so that you can see how it goes down, but I would still be able to put my picture underneath it. And I put it, in this case, I'm lining it up with that guy there. And that's how that one goes on that page, okay? Now, I also used a wave catch it. This is already cut into the flag, so you don't have to do anything with that one. And I put it right on the photo. If you don't like doing that, I totally get it. You don't have to. Okay, and then to finish off this side, we're just going to put down our wave. Okay, now, if you're doing photos, you want to make sure that you do your photos first and then put your wave down. All right, and I'm just going to use little ones because they don't show up as much as the big foam squares do. This one, it is going to show just a hair, but it really doesn't show much, and I am looking for places that have a little bit more of a solid design instead of the places that really have a lot of gaps. See, like there's a lot of gaps there, so I don't want to put it on that spot. And you just want enough. You want to make sure that you get your corners anchored for sure. So I'm going to come back over here and do this spot here. But you can do as few or as many of these guys as you would like. Peel off the backing. The more that you have on, the better chance it's going to stay lifted instead of pressing down into your page. But at the same time, it does use a lot of foam squares, so you need to decide how many you want. Okay, and then I left a little bit of a gap at the bottom just to have a little bit of variance there. So I'm going to put it right there, and these foam dots are sticky. So once it's down, it's pretty much down. Okay, there's that. And actually, there's still enough clearance that I could probably put my photos underneath there, but it is better to put your photos down first, then do that. All right, let's finish this side of the page. So on this one, we have here our 2 strips that are kind of sticking out, and they're underneath the photo, so make sure you do those first. And then I put this border piece right here, so let's build this out just a little bit. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with this little orange guy, and I'm going to just put one little strip of adhesive to get him down. And the nice thing is it's going to have a photo over it, so it is going to hide it a little bit. And I'm going to leave it up about 1/4 inch or so. You can decide how high you want it. Lay him down, then come with my green and put him right next to it. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece, and I only need, it turns out, 4 of the bumps. Okay, so I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down, same way I did before. I'm going to line it up so that it's right against that edge, and actually, no, I need it this way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, want it right against that edge, and you'll see that your trimmer kind of has a little groove in it after a while. Okay, so then I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to adhere it right along this edge, and it is going not quite all the way to the edge here, so a little bit of a gap, and I can actually lift this piece just a hair and slide him under. Okay, so there's that piece. Now, for this lazy summer part, it actually uses this Wanderlust and then the lazy summer days. Okay, and I wanted to show you how I cut these guys out. You kind of have to get used to how it works. Okay, so here's lazy summer days. And what I'm doing is I am lining up where the 2 pieces come together. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a black groove. Let's see if I hold it up closer. You see that little bit of a black groove kind of in there? And that's where my blade is going to cut. So I'm going to line that up, come along and trim it. Now, I will tell you that for all the times I've done this, I do randomly not get it cut correctly. So you just go back and trim it again. So again, I'm coming between the 2 designs, lining it up on my cut track, and there I have it. Okay, so this time I am going to adhere this right on top of this peach piece and then pop the whole piece. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this side and this side here, and I'm doing the same thing I did on the other side. I'm putting the same amount of space on the side as I am on the bottom. You just want to make sure you get that design covered up. Then I'm coming back with my foam squares, 1 in each corner. Peel those backings off. And come over here and place him. And I'm doing it so that it lines up with the edge of this peach border strip, and so it overlaps the top just a little bit. Okay. Now, there's a sticker on here that says #family. I've put a foam square on the back of it already. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to put it down here in this corner. And then also on this layout, you'll see that we have Every Summer Has a Story, which is on our sticker sheet. Right here, oops, upside down, right there. And then I took the blue circle and the little peach shell and put them on foam squares. And again, I'm not going to add those until I get my photos on there, okay? And then the last thing on this page is to put our wave on this one as well. Okay, that completes these layouts. Okay, so you'll see that we have quite a few layers from these different strips of paper. You can use scraps for these. The cut aparts lend themselves really nicely to layering. You can layer your stickers, which are designed to be layered. And you can use different papers to give it a different background, but kind of carry that cohesive look all the way through your layout. And I'm going to show you that finished one more time with the photos. Okay, so there it is with all the stickers on it. There's side one with the stickers. Slide across to the other page, and that design carries through. Okay, any questions that we have? Let's see, any other questions? And that took us right to the half-hour mark. I'm gonna make me the spotlight video. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. So we're gonna do our last thing, which is give away some points. And so the points tonight are going to Diane C. Diane C, if you will message Lisa E really quickly, your account number, she'll get those taken care of for you. We will get this video up and posted so you can share it with other people in the next couple of days. But again, hopefully you've learned some things about layering. Next month we'll be doing a digital demonstration, so join us for Christmas cards and text next month. Never too late to start. Hey, have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you later. Bye.